Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to the Carnegie Public Library Readathon of picture books for children about Christmas. Today I'm going to read one of my favorite Christmas children's books. It's called Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree by Robert Barry. You can see this copy is very well loved and worn and used because I've been reading this for Christmas for many years, and this book is probably more than 50 years old overall. We have a beautiful copy here at the library, but it's checked out, so we're going to read the classic and original version of Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. You can see the truck is driving the tree home. It's a special delivery. Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree came by special delivery. Full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. A magnificent tree, splendid, he cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor, corner here. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willowby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling and then bent like a bow. Oh, good heavens, he gasped, something must go. Now, as you can see, the tree is beautiful, but it's a little bit too tall. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willowby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim my tree. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know who would be delighted with this Christmas tree. So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willowby's upstairs maid. And he took the tree and gave it to Miss Adelaide. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. And so with scissors sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed a song. The top was set out of the very next day, in back of the house to be thrown away. The little treetop caught the eye of Tim the gardener passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. He hurried it right home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa la la, surprise, surprise, his wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it at all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I have a present for you. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Mama Bear quite drowsily. Before we go to sleep this year, let's have a Christmas party, dear. But Little Bear, standing off far, cried out, this tree won't hold a star. Barnaby said, let's cut a hunk off at the bottom, here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the tree top off instead. Jolly by golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that's surely just the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsel and popcorn on strings. Mama said, trim it as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top won't need any more. I'll put it just outside the door. Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed the top in. Now the fox is taking the tree home. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. It's even better than mincemeat pie, said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a bit oversized. There, my dears, now don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry. And she snipped it off. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems he thought most certainly Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found? With that he called his family around. Then there was a merrymaking, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree. All were happy as rabbits could be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away, the children cried, "Look, it's leaning to one side." "It's too tall, that's all," said Mrs. Rabbit, and as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw away the top. There's not much left of that big old tree, isn't there? Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice. Up some stairs, he fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. "It's just the right size," said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willowby? And look, we've come all the way back, and the little mice have a beautiful tree, and it's in the mouse hole right beside Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree. So, that was the classic Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree, my favorite Christmas picture book, and I hope you guys all have happy holidays.